There's a new batch of fall merch now available from White Centipede Noise. Black hoodies, red earth crew necks, and t-shirts in red, blue, pink, and camo. All printed on high-quality, 100% organic Stanley Stella garments. They are now available to pre-order for the fall season at whitecentipedenoise.com. Pre-orders are open until October 7th. These will not be printed in overrun, so order now to secure your size. Hello and welcome to White Centipede Noise Podcast. I'm Oscar Brummel. I'm going to be brief. Today, my guest is Stuart Skinner, a very interesting and strong mind in noise. The sound drifts a bit to a bad export from a crappy program I'm using, but I think it all works out in the end. Now is the time to support White Centipede Noise Podcast if you aren't already. If you act by October 7th, you can get the free gifts that I'm offering. I'll tell you about them in the closer. The support is very, very appreciated and necessary for keeping the show going. There will be no episode of the podcast next week and possibly the week thereafter, but I will be creating WCN TV content for those who support to fill those gaps, and it'll be nice. So thank you all. Enjoy Stuart. See you then. Hello, Stuart Skinner. Welcome to White Centipede Noise Podcast.
Hey.
Thanks for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Nice to meet you and talk to you face to face for the first time. Yeah. So your name, I think, kind of rings bells to some. But I think to many, you are probably unknown because you keep a fairly low profile. Can you tell me and the people just a little bit about who you are and what you do, generally?
My name's Stuart Skinner. I'm from Texas. I do a lot of collaborative tapes with limited runs of stuff. I don't really distro anything, which is probably why nobody gets them, which is part ineptitude, part financial, part, just trying to, I don't know, it's just how it's always been. But I do a lot of collaborative stuff with Eric Nystrom and Tom D'Angelo and a bunch of other people. But those are the two people. Eric and Tom, are the two guys I really dislike a lot, and they're fun to work with.
So I was, of course, going to ask you about your collaborations, but you kind of jumped right into that. Why is it that what is it about collaboration that you really value?
I can't finish stuff. I can't really finish anything. I just, I think for some stuff I edited earlier on, but later on, I just kept on asking people, or like Sam from Star, he was in some stuff, or I'll just ask people for a bunch of stuff, and I feel like I don't know, it makes it easy. It makes it easier to finish. It holds me kind of accountable to get stuff out. I don't know. I think. I don't know. It sort of works. It works out some of the weaknesses of my own productivity and creativity, and plus, I don't know. They're interesting people to talk to. The social aspect of that stuff is really fun. I've met some of my favorite people through this stuff, and it's always cool to do shit with them.
Yeah. Is that one of the main things that leads you to choose your collaborators, or what's one of the main things that leads you to choose your collaborators?
Well, Nystron, Eric, is just very cool. He's just he's like a just special, strange man.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The Team Bora stuff was pretty much, I feel like that was one of the best noise things of the last 10 years, really. Getting that stuff in the mail was the same kind of excitement as like a trash ritual kind of thing of like, holy shit,
Mm-hmm.
like this is exactly what I want to hear and look at. And
yeah,
he does a great job with everything he does. And I just wanted to, I don't know how I think I found out about him in like the Fordamning zine,
mm-hmm.
I think. And through that guy Matthias. And I don't really remember how I got a hold of the VMS Elite stuff, but that stuff was just so effortless, and it sort of, I think, just has a natural. I never used the word talent in noise. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think there's anybody that has a natural advantage over someone else in this thing. But his ability to sort of conceptualize and blend things that were like, I guess like, I'm trying to think of like Boro themes, like the arson comp.
Yeah.
Or...
You must be on there, right?
No, I'm not.
No?
Eric let me down on that one.
Because there are some names in there that I was like, a lot of names I didn't recognize, and then some I did, of course, but I kind of figured those. Trying to figure out what some of those are.
Yeah, one of the many problems I've had with him. He didn't ask me. No, he's awesome. But no, he's he just sort of blended like bad action movies with sleaze and the weird, and into something that was just really unique for the time. Really, I think unique for the decade.
Yeah.
So I
agree.
I just wanted to send him stuff, so I sent him earlier recordings, and he's just cool. He's sick. He does sick stuff.
And you guys have a project together, Zwangsbeglücktertum, or
yeah, mm-hmm.
Is that Tom. You two, and is that also Thomas D'Angelo?
Yeah. Tom gave me source material of when the Pope visited Philadelphia. It's pretty. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I wish I put that in the liner notes. That is audio of the Pope visiting Philadelphia, and I just ran that through a no input signal. Like I don't really own. I do own some equipment, but I found that no input and a reverb pedal go a long way. That's all that one was, of just pressing play and stop and turning on there's like a radio function on the tape, and you can turn the radio on real quick. But that was it. And then I sent it to Eric. He's like, "Oh, that's great." And then Eric cleaned it up, added his texture and hum and stuff like that, and made it more cohesive.
Cool.
Yeah, I love that band. I'm very proud of it. Band.
It's great.
Yeah.
Is that how you usually work? Because I kind of had the impression that you were kind of the organizer and were doing the final mix on a lot of things. But you say you can't finish anything. Are you sometimes letting other people do the final mix or the final edit? Yeah.
Eric has his hand in a lot of stuff for the gift of music. I'm full disclosure. He for a lot of them, I would say, hey, I want to do something of like a guy crucified on the music thing. You ever see the Canine Cognition Lab tape? You ever see that one?
Yeah, I have. I can't remember anyone crucified on it, but yeah.
What? You do your research for this? You're kidding, man. I'm totally kidding.
I'm thinking of the kind of circuit board thing with the pictures.
There's a guy crucified on the. It's from. So I sent him that image. It's a guy being crucified. I said, "Oh, you should put him on the music staff, the treble clef, or whatever." And
okay.
Together. He's like, I'll send him images and instructions, and he'll sometimes, not all the time, but he'll slap them together. Because I just have I can't finish stuff. I can conceptualize stuff, but I can't finish things. Cool. I've got a lot going on, kind of. and sometimes, creative efforts just don't you can get other people to do stuff, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that guy.
What about also? So you just said you just mentioned the label. Tell me about the label you have. The labels you have.
Oh, okay. The Gift Music. I don't know when. I think 2018 or 2019. No, I think earlier than that. 2018, 17, maybe 16. It started out as just sort of like this. I always thought it was a funny name, and that mostly specializes in harsh noise. With sometimes the Melkings tapes are all very crude, home taper kind of stuff. With this guy Jim Strong and Tom. That's probably the least violent sounding stuff. And then I don't know. I'll have to let me look at. Oh, the We Are One label with Tom.
Yeah, We Are One.
Yeah, that's So Alan Mozek of Vitrine was going to do a Steve McCaffrey CD. It didn't. He wasn't able to get it done. And then I messaged him and messaged Steve McCaffrey and messaged Tom. Harassed everybody into doing this thing. And so that was, that's a really good CD. I need to send that to people. I still have a ton of copies because it came out during COVID. And
yeah,
I did send stuff. I'll send you some, and I need to send Sadahatu or that guy mail too.
Yeah,
I have a lot of people mail.
Yeah.
And was that what? Why'd you say? Yeah?
No. Go on.
Oh, okay. But that's sound like that was it. Have you heard Steve McCaffrey's stuff?
No.
Okay. Well, the CD is him and like there's a lot of stuff with electronics and I think tape in it. And a lot of sound poetry, especially stuff from Canada, is like way too goofy. Like it's just too, it's not my thing, it's just not my thing. But McCaffrey does a pretty good job and he will use like electronics and tape and things like that. It's from like the 60s to now. It's a full.
Wow.
Yeah, I think late 60s, might be early 70s, but it's from then till now. And it's really good. I think it's one of the best things I've heard from that, in general. It's one of my favorite things.
Cool.
And then the fall 2019 tape, that was me. I forgot to print like my name and stuff on it. And I was so happy with it that I wanted to put my name on it, but didn't do that. Couldn't finish it. So I just put it.
This is the untitled one?
Yeah.
With the
skeletons.
Yeah. So that wasn't intentional?
What? To have it be untitled?
To not have your name on it?
It was, and then I was like, oh, wait, no, it's so good. Oh, whatever, it's done. Just here you go. I meant to print like a little card with my stuff on it, like a business card or something, but didn't work out.
This episode of White Centipede Noise Podcast is brought to you by Sinkhole Entertainment. Sinkhole Entertainment presents Spate, Dog Mono album, a follow-up to 2021's Neuter disc on the Robert Fuchs label. Dog Mono is a poetry of body sonics and binary cognitive diminishment, a music brightly colored in its edge and slant-wise motion. Misguided ego dissolution joins an attitude of aggrandizement, all along a side street, whilst at times a common structure is rendered unlikely. We cast a shadow on clarity. A phlegmatic album for which harsh is the metaphor through. Digipack CD with booklet. Find it at sinkholeentertainment.bigcartel.com or in a distro near you. So you mentioned you mentioned that a lot of it's limited runs, and you kind of mentioned that it's oftentimes due to economics or just like logistics, but are there other reasons that you choose to keep things very limited or small?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's important to have some antisocial grit, you know. It's not, you know, especially in America where everybody tries to be this big happy family in noise. You got to have some antisocial grit to this stuff. And I don't know. You got to be a little, not nasty, but you got to have some antisocial grit to stuff, I think. And, you know, I don't distro. I just mail the people that did whoever did the tapes. I just give them all of them and I keep one. And then, so that's really their fault, not mine.
I like that you say that though, because most people don't admit that. Everyone either does that and they say, "Oh, well, you know, it's just how many people I think are interested or whatever." It's like, it's bullshit. People want to have that. Antisocial grit is important.
Yeah,
it's an aspect of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
not for everyone.
Not for everyone. I mean, I got into noise because of antisocial reasons and, you know, not taking care of myself. So now I'm, you know, so that's how the tapes ended up coming out. There you go.
How did you get into noise?
Okay.
How long have you been doing this? Because you contacted me actually many, many years ago before I knew any of your, before I think, well, maybe you had already released some stuff, but I just recently kind of connected your name with like with being in contact like very, very long ago.
Yes.
And
did
we
you
were
respond? Did you reply?
I did. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I did. Yeah.
All right.
And then you never replied.
See? Okay.
So tell me about how you got into noise, and that's a classic question. But how did you get into it, and tell me like what that process was like in your earlier works and stuff like that.
Man, I was thinking about that. How did I get into this stuff? I think I heard like when I started getting into this stuff. I guess I like Swans, and Big Black and stuff, and then all those Susan Lawley reissues came out around 2006, 7, 8, and, you know, looking for things that were, you know, had more antisocial grit or, you know, violent imagery or psychosexual themes. Yeah. That was what came next. And I mean, it was that and like Skullflower, and I really liked the Skaters. I still like the Skaters. I'm not going to be listening to the Skaters, you know, but I like them a lot. I don't draw on Skaters records, but you know, that stuff's good. And so, I mean, those guys definitely escaped music, you know, through their recordings. And so yeah, that was it. And then met, some people that were that knew more than me, and they groomed me. They groomed me into being this person. Yeah.
What was your life like at that time?
When? In 2007? As a young man? I was, I don't know, just like any other young man at that age, receptive to music, trying to find the next, you ever watch interviews with like old fat metal guys? You ever watch like death metal, crappy death metal? Okay. They're always saying like, man, it started out as, Pantera, and I was just looking for the next nasty thing.
Next high.
Yeah. So yeah, I was chasing the next high. I was chasing the dragon.
Yeah.
Boys. And then, what was I like? I was, it was a mess. They're just like everybody else is in their early 20s. Kind of dumb. But, passionate about music and, noise and power electronics.
How did your old noise? Yeah.
Noise. Okay, I'm yelling.
Sorry?
Oh, so the saying like stuff from like the like not like I don't know, not like Tesco power electronics. Older.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got it. How has your personal life and whatever is going on in your personal life affected your output throughout the years? Has that had or like your activities?
I don't know, man. Gotta be a little guarded about that question, just
sure.
I want my manager to Google me, Google me and find out, But well, I don't. What was? How does noise affect personal life? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that too. How does the noise affect your personal life, and how does your personal life affect your noise output or activities?
I'm from Texas. I grew up in a Baptist family, and lots of church, and I've got all sorts of, if you're wondering, I've got all sorts of health issues that really fucked up my sense of self, and if you are looking for things that feel as bad as you can find them in noise and power electronics. And so that's how I got it. And so it definitely, I don't know, I love sketchy tapes, and now not so much, but, I was looking for stuff that just was, felt the way I felt, or looked the way I felt. Mostly looked the way I felt. I like the way all that a lot of that stuff looks. Yeah.
Do you think noise Do you think noise is inherently subversive or transgressive in its sound, not necessarily in its aesthetics or whatever, but like the sound itself as music?
I think it's about I think maybe I wasn't around for anything that I really really like. So this is kind of a poser outlook on, stuff, but like, a lot of stuff that I like, there is this aura to it of people trying to escape music. And so I think maybe that has something to do with also escaping the social norms of music. And I think that's, I don't know, like whether it's New Blockaders or whatever from the Broken Flag discography. I feel like a lot of that stuff is teenagers and young people trying to escape music and escape, punk and crap too. I'm sure they listened to a ton of crap music at that point too in their lives. They weren't, the people are going to listen to crappy stuff too. But I think they were I feel like that was the thing, trying to escape music.
Do you think that's still being attempted by some people?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like everything is over the last 2 years, since COVID, I hate to bring up COVID. It's such a kind of boring thing, but it's like, I I don't know where things are at now. I don't know where anything. I mean, sometimes I'll look at interviews or read things, and it's like, oh, this is 1990 something. Oh, this is 2000 something. This doesn't apply anymore.
Sure.
So I don't know.
It's true. It's true to see where we are as a.
Yeah. But I was listening to. You ever listen to Cluster? Early Cluster.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm familiar, but I've never really listened to that heavily.
I'll send you some Cluster YouTube links. That stuff, those guys were escaping music, I think, too. And it's like 7.
What does that mean to you?
I don't know. I think music has this sort of aura. Music has an aura to it. It has it's a symbol too of society, of the culture it's from, all that. I'm not an anthropologist or anything like that, but it's sort of a symbol. It has symbols of people in the world, and so I think if you're trying to escape that, sometimes you have to create a vacuum of non-music, and you can get away from things like that. It's not an escapist thing, but it's a fight. It's like a fight to escape it.
Yeah. It's like a fight to elevate or
just
progress or something.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Is there a certain mindset that you think is required for making interesting noise, or other characteristics in a person?
I don't know. I think you have. I'm no authority to say what kind of person has to make this stuff. No one is. Do what you want to do.
No, but I mean, what? But like what?
What kind of minds make the music?
What kind of mind or characteristic do you think is like behind? I mean, I guess maybe you've said it already with people who are attempting to escape music, but kind of like on a wider sense, what kind of mindset that is, or what kind of person that is.
I don't know. There's all sorts of people that make this stuff. There's functional and dysfunctional people, mean and nice people, healthy and unhealthy people that make it. I think in order to do it like in a cassette culture way, I think you have to be able to have a visual mind for the art. It's sort of an interdisciplinary practice. You don't get to do one or the other. Like there's, you have to commit to an image or images or aesthetic in some way, and tie that to the sound. I think if you're able to do that, doesn't matter. That's all that matters is, in cassette culture, at least, it's just the final product,
Mm-hmm.
But you got to do both. I don't own much music, but I do know that, the stuff I have looks and sounds good. Half of sounding good is looking good, It goes for everything in life. You got to look good to feel good,
It's true.
Why it looks so good.
It's true.
Make love good. Yeah.
James Brown.
Am I making you uncomfortable? You look a little red.
No.
Okay.
No, that's. I think James Brown said
that. That's my shirt. Yeah. My shirt.
What do you think about the phenomenon of like a scene, or also this concept of community within noise? Like that, those two terms get used a lot, and I think they mean kind of different things. And there are people who kind of reject both of them, or ascribe to one or the other, or see them as the same. What's your feeling on like a scene of noise people or a community of noise people, and if that's positive or negative, and what its effect can have, and how you fit into it?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm geographically isolated here in Texas. There's some, obviously, Texas is a staple of American noise, but, I don't know. There's nothing happening right now, down here. There's no shows, which is fine by me. you know, I don't really know of anyone that's like, damn, I want to know what that guy's doing down here. Other than Shane English, I'll always curious to see what that guy's doing. I don't know, man. Like, scene, community, individual, where do people fit in? I'm trying to think.
Do you think this kind of like community aspect or sharing kind of like
trading sucks.
Ideas and supporting,
and see, that's the thing.
Like supporting each other, like mentally or artistically. Do you think that has a positive or negative effect on the art?
On the quality of the art? I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, like there's got to be, in order for me to be like, oh, I want to know. I don't know. I think there has to just be some antisocial grit. There has to be some level of, I think, in my mind, too much community is tied into careerism. And that's something that I'm not interested in. Like even doing this, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I don't mean that as a diss. I mean that as
no,
like
I get that.
This. But it's like, I forgot what I was saying. I mean, there's got to just be some antisocial grit to this stuff, or else it just kind of gets tied into careerism and like too much touring and too much shows and too much pro-social kind of stuff that like, this isn't, punk, or some like, you don't have to do that. It's about, sometimes it's about, I don't know, like being withdrawn. That's where the intensity of the music comes from, where the sound can come from. Being withdrawn. Hermits. I think hermetic, like, living under a rock can be a good thing, create a vacuum for yourself and for your work and say, screw everything else and live your life,
Do you think there are some other, like, essential elements of noise that are underutilized or underexplored, like in terms of
dude, it's so easy
like this
it's so noise is so easy.
Antisocialness or sorry, say it again.
Oh, go ahead. I finish the thought, please.
I just in terms of like glossed over or missed essential parts of what this is all about for you that don't get the right attention.
I don't know. It's like I was saying, I think noise is pretty easy to do. And so I think a lot of people are now doing it. A lot of people circa, 2014 made noise their life's calling. A lot of crap came out of it. But it's like, it's really, I don't know. I was listening to, I've been listening to more noise recently, and I listened to the Human Skin Lanterns tape.
Mm-hmm.
And there's breathing in a lot of taint stuff and in a lot of macro stuff. And in crack steel stuff, there's lots of breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, like, that's actually creative. That's such an easy fucking thing to do, but it really distinguishes things, Like people don't use vocals and stuff. People don't, people spurn electric guitars, I think, I don't know. So what's missing?
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Noise is for prudes and rules. You know what I mean? We gotta have these like. There's like these new, I guess like status quos that I see in aesthetic and in sound, and that's their interpretation of it, and just not what I'm all about right now, That's it.
Do you make an effort to break those?
I think so. Yeah, humor. You gotta I love like violent enunciation. That shit's so stupid and funny and out of touch. Like all those ideas are barely funny. Like they're not, you know what I mean? Like I'm not rolling over laughing, but it's like it's just this barely funny idea that is extremely bizarre, like a Japanese take on Americana. And it's humor can, you can get away with a lot if you're funny. And I think humor is a big part of everything in my life, especially with noise. There's not a lot of, there's plenty of funny people out there, but they don't really reflect that. There's such a self-serious kind of thing right now. That's a bummer to look at, like that's just, there's so much self-seriousness, and I don't know. It's an observation.
That's true. And I mean, I think what you said about breathing is very interesting. And I talked about this a little bit with Dean from Robert Fuchs, is that when I started doing noise and like kind of just experimenting with what I kind of thought were the basic gear elements that I could use, that people use, I was doing a lot of weird things like breathing or like mouth noises and like stuff like that. And I think for some reason at some point I kind of like learned that it wasn't cool, or that other people weren't really doing this. And that's kind of, and I really restricted myself at some point. Yeah.
That's natural.
To like just doing, white noise generator and some pedals, and like you do these things and you don't do other things. That happened for a while, and eventually I came out of that. But I mean, that was a kind of a strict reduction of what I was originally like getting in touch with in terms of like noise, to being like, oh no.
Yeah, and I mean,
it happens a lot.
Everybody does that. Any creative will lead you to the rules, or the status, not the rules, but the status quo,
Right.
But, on the subject of weird noise, I mean, like vanilla, like you heard the first 666 volt battery noise tape? Unstoppable. Yeah. That's like, if you put that out now, people would be like, I don't know about that. Yeah. Like, why is there no texture? It's like, there's so much you can do. And there's so much narrative and movement and conceptualization to that tape that even stuff that might not sound like status quo good noise or whatever by today's standards, you can get away with that if you know how to deliver the sound through image and conceptualization, through titles.
Absolutely.
And things like that, But yeah, all that, I mean, the vanilla stuff, and if you can, whenever you get that translator, Teshima, you should interview him. That'd be cool. But
that'd be great.
That would be cool, right? Yeah. But I mean, that stuff like, I mean, there's plenty of stuff on there that it's funny and strange and weird looking, and it doesn't have like, it doesn't feel status quo, it just feels like
right.
There were no rules. People were literally just doing what looked bad in some ways, But I mean, that's the other thing is like, I feel like before vanilla, like if I look at images and stuff, there's all the black and white Xerox stuff. I feel like the Japanese made it this very, I don't know, like not a serious art, but a sort of like a fully conceptualized kind of like, gross tapes or MSBR, like some of that stuff, like the way it looks. So if it's not ugly, I mean, even in the uglier stuff, figure where it's going. But there's no rules to that stuff. There's no status quo to that stuff. It's very pure, very badass. Yeah.
Definitely. You also reminded me just now of something interesting. You wrote me once. I think you asked me, like, we were talking, and you asked me, like, for recommendations of non-textural based noise. And that's very interesting to me. That kind of blew my mind a little bit, because it was like, I kind of felt like, okay, I've kind of analyzed noise to the point, at least where I can, like, the noise that I really like and what it's all about, I'm like, it's about texture.
Yeah.
Like harsh noise that I like, it's about texture. And then you were like, what's some good non-textural based noise? And that was kind of like, whoa, that's a crazy thought. And so can you elaborate on that a bit? Like, what do you think what are some of the elements of noise, like outside of texture, that you really find fascinating?
Like projects and bands and stuff?
Well, no, like elements of sound, if you can.
Oh, whoa.
Or elements of concepts or ideas.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a list person. So I'll just list stuff that I think has that. And thank God for YouTube, because some of the stuff I would have never heard. But I also think, anyway, but the Burial Confine, you heard Burial Confine? Andrew Chalk's old stuff. That's not about texture, I was talking to Shane about the first Burial Confine tape, Meiosis. He said, it sounds like harsh wind. And it does. It sounds like a bunch of little machines grinding and feedbacking and falling apart and stuff. I feel like Dean, one of those Robert Fox CDs or CDRs I got, sounds like a bunch of little machines. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Incapacitance isn't about Inhijo. They're not about texture,
Right.
I don't know. There's whatever happened in the late 90s, early 2000s. I think everybody got really focused on texture, and that became one of the status quos, and a lot of great things came out of that. But I think it's time for people to, if noise is to do anything exciting, it's going to have to do a lot more different things, in my opinion. But as far as sounds I'm looking, or I like, I don't know. I think sometimes it's about like how someone can, I don't know. I'm trying to think of stuff. MSBR isn't very texture focused, and I don't know. I'm trying to think. There's a lot more than just crackling sounds out there. The Kakerlak Bing tape? Did you ever hear that one? The Split?
That's one I don't have.
Man, that Bing side has a really cool use of gross style digital reverb, burst digital reverb. You can get it. You can get a rip of it or whatever. Check it out. That I thought was like a good contemporary use of, new ideas. There's definitely texture and stuff in there in Rumble, but there's like a lot of like that yellow cab bursts of, sound with that digital reverb sound that, Obby and all those guys were so about.
Yeah, that's right. So new ideas in noise, what do you or development in noise, what would you like to see? What would you say to someone who's considering making noise music right now and hasn't started yet? How would I groom them? Yeah, how would you groom them?
How would I groom this person? Yes. I would tell that young person, I would say, I don't know, start them out slow. I don't know, man. What would I say? I don't know. I talk at people sometimes. I play music at people sometimes. I spam people like yourself with YouTube videos sometimes. I don't know. Don't be a wimp. Don't be a sissy. Don't call your stuff like emotive titles. Don't focus on texture. Be funny. If you're not funny, I don't know. Figure out something else, You don't have to do, there's no status quos. I don't know. Avoid texture and emotive titles.
Of course, avoid texture and emotive titles?
Yeah. I think then you're good.
That's it. Okay. That's interesting. That's definitely, avoiding text, telling people to avoid texture and noise is a very radical idea, because I think it is. Because technically every sound has texture.
Yeah, but there's also, I'm trying to think of stuff I like TADM. There's a very special TADM thing that will happen one day, and there's no texture in that, and that's like the most violent sounding shit, and the most frustrated, nasty sounding shit. And Orpheus Training. You ever heard that record? The one on Praxis? Okay, I'll send it to you. It's nasty. Really nasty. And it sounds like crap. There's no texture in it. It's just breaking everything. Everything sounds like it's falling apart, Little machines. That's what I tell that young person. I'd say, make it sound like little machines doing their thing. Yeah. that's how I.
What advice would you give them for like starting like technically?
I don't know.
In terms of gear, like they're like, I don't have any gear. I don't know what to get. How can I start? Well, not gear, but like how do I make noise? What do I start to do? Like how should I go about it?
Gear. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Not like what gear should they buy, but like how should they approach the technical aspect of making it?
Use as little as possible. Don't be a sucker for Guitar Center crap. You know. Don't get sucked into that world. There's some people that are into that do cool stuff. And I sound like a big jerk right now, probably, but I do think that there's some stuff that needs to change, you know, in order for this stuff to keep interesting and keep my ear at the very least. Some things have to change. Some new thoughts have to come, but I think avoiding rumble and things, not necessarily avoiding, but don't make that the whole focus, you know. Try and build narrative around the sound and movement. You know, we're coming out of this, you know, this is not a diss, but, you know, this like post-Rita kind of texture world that, you know, is very much about, you know, one very focused outlook on a sound or on a texture, which is, you know, I think you can show some of that stuff to anybody and they'll kind of get like, the obsession and the conceptualization of the Rita. You know, you don't have to just be a noise person. But I think a lot of people are too focused on that. So that's just me. And I'd like to see I don't know. I think it's time to challenge that, you know? That's it.
Yeah.
I think it's time to just challenge that. I think it's gotten to be a status quo, and there's always going to be a place for that as long as the genre is around. But I do think I think everybody needs to get a little bit more creative. I don't know. Some of my stuff focuses on texture, but the texture is like incidental, just from, you know, circumstance. It's not intentional. You know, I don't really own much equipment. I own some drum machines, but I don't know, and a mixer. And a reverb pedal, 2 reverb pedals.
So when you're creating or recording,
wow.
Can you try to explain to me what you are attempting to achieve?
Oh, I'm a big fat cheater and a big phony who likes to rip people off that I like, you know. I'm just, you know, a good practice if you are feeling stumped is try to recreate things sometimes. Like I'm you know, not very clever or creative with this stuff. I don't think the visual stuff, I think, but some of that relies on Eric's ability to render these things at times. Not all of them. He doesn't deserve that much credit. Don't let him do that. But yeah. But yeah, I just rip stuff off. You know, find what you like.
But you're trying to rip something off, but you're using like
new stuff.
I mean, what are some of you're using zero equipment basically.
I don't know. I mean, I think the thing most people in noise and cassette culture right now have spent the same amount of time making it as they have experiencing and listening to it. I've definitely had more experience listening to it. You know, I never was able to afford the stuff I wanted to do till 10 years ago-ish, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like 2012, 13, I started buying stuff to record onto, like a 4-track and stuff. Can you repeat the question? Is there a question?
Well, like what? Well, okay, so you said you're trying to like rip, you're trying to copy people or rip people off as kind of your practice, but obviously you're using like it doesn't sound like anything else. I mean, we haven't talked about much about your sound, but it's very, it doesn't sound like anything else, and it sounds very, very unique. And I'm simultaneously, it's like sometimes very raw and kind of classic sound, but I'm oftentimes wondering, like when I'm hearing it, like where's that from? How did he, like, either how did he do that, or like why did he, like, either how did he do that technically? I'm curious like what kind of gear you're using, because like that's really weird. Where did that come from? Or I'm thinking why did he think of that? So I mean, maybe you're saying you're trying to rip someone off.
Yeah, I'll
there's something else happening there.
Like with the Usagi CD, there's some definite rip-off stuff happening, in my opinion, which is great because the stuff is so good to rip off. I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't know. As far I don't know. Should I give away recording tricks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
Record on no, I can't do it, man. You're gonna have to. You should edit it out right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but
I don't know.
What are some of your favorite? I don't think you should give recording tips, because I'm really against it actually. Also, in general, like, a lot of people want me to put more gears talk on the show, but I'm really against.
Maybe if you're like 22, maybe if you're like a little boy.
I'm against doing that because I think that's the most important thing, is just figuring it out.
Yeah,
I think that's where you figure out.
That's where the status quo has come from, is equipment people. They build that stuff. Now I like playing guitar. I like looking at guitar stuff.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
who are some of the artists you like to rip off then? Who are some of your biggest inspirations or influences?
Hey, I'm going to open up a box of stuff I like, okay?
Please do.
There's a box behind me. It's under my TV.
Oh.
See that?
Oh, cool. Your TV sits on top of it?
42 inches, baby. There's some TV right there also. It's in the chest.
Cool.
You should speed this part up. Make it look good, Speed this part up.
Okay, I will.
I'm totally messing. Like, you want it to be a noise?
Anything.
Anything. First, someone needs to do an ASM thing in the next couple days. Someone needs to do an ASM. I'm serious. Like, that stuff is removed from everything. He's hard to talk to. Yeah. He's not hard to talk to, but he's hard to get a hold of. It's kind of Mark Jameson. He's kind of hard to pin down, but he apparently has a storage unit of this stuff. Oh. Have you heard ASM?
Well, a little bit.
Dude, primordial, bizarre stuff.
Yeah.
And some of this stuff I'll upload. Oh.
You have a YouTube channel where you upload a lot of really obscure stuff, right?
Yeah, but there's more to come.
Okay, but tell people what that is so they can find it. Because sometimes I finally subscribe to it.
Go ahead.
I subscribed to it finally, but I could always never. I was always having a trying to find what it was. But now that I found it, it's like, yeah.
The channel, Tom D'Angelo invented the title. He invented it, but it's called A Message for Our Children's Children. It's a funny name. It's Tom's funny.
A message for our children's children?
Yeah. This is the best. This is my favorite cassette of all time. Yusuru Saige's, 1983 through 1985. It's on YouTube. It's probably the best cassette culture, DIY, industrial thing from Japan. Like 83. Holy shit. Who's listening to this stuff? It's incredible. It has everything. There's so much movement and individual tracks. It's definitely a masterpiece of, mail art, DIY, cassette culture of the early 80s. It's about as good as anything can get. Let's see. I forget what I was doing. Do you want me to just show you cool stuff?
Show me more stuff that you really are inspired by or influenced by.
Okay.
Like in terms of your sound also.
Oh. Agog Hebdamos. Damien Biscilja. I was trying to do a thing for him. His friend, he's passed away, Damien Biscilja, but his friends, I think, are fairly guarded about his stuff, and I'm not going to harass anybody, but
sure.
There's apparently a lot of his stuff, but it's sort of this West Coast 90s crawl unit era California thing. Mm-hmm. And it's LAFMS kind of Joseph Hammer kind of thing of weird tape manipulation and junk sounds, samples. Very strange. It's legitimately weird in every aspect of it. And he was a sculptor. You can find some of his sculpture. Nice. That thing is so cool,
Definitely.
AMB. This is the big dog shit, You heard that one? I uploaded it.
I have, yes. I've heard it from your upload.
Did your homework, okay. Good.
What can you tell us about AMB? Because he's a very, very obscure character, and I don't know too much about who he really is or whatever. But
we're gonna get him out, bro. We're all gonna find a way to get a hold of this guy. We all got to get together and bug him, because his shit is so good, man. So I think it's got to be just like guitar and like a rock. It's so fierce and so well conceptual. Like it looks like looks like poison, maximum poison inside that cassette. So we all got to get together. I know Tommy Karanen has his stuff. So you got to talk to him. You're the noise.
You have that original tape. That's very, very rare, right?
Yes, Oscar. Yes.
I mean, no one has that stuff.
Just me. But yeah, I'm playing. But yeah, I don't know. As far as stuff that influences Zero Saiges, Agog. Let me think.
Why is it that you think? I mean,
oh man, everybody needs. You want to talk about anti-texture? Lyoto music, man. That shit. Do that. That shit's all violence. That's just, and it's so good. There's no texture in that. It's vocals.
It's much harder to operate outside of texture.
It's also because everybody. People don't want to make a lot of noise at their little apartment, in their little rinky-dink houses that they make their noise in. I know I can't. So you got to cheat and make rumbling sounds. It's a cheater's move.
It's true. No, I mean, I always think about that too when it comes to mixing or mastering noise or something like that. It's like, it's very hard. It's very unfortunate to have to try to put it in sort of like normal music.
Yeah. That's
frequency band. Like it shouldn't have to be. I mean, it should be totally free from that formula.
Yeah. Apparently when you do pro stuff where you have to send audio to the tape factory, they were like, what happened here?
Yeah.
This sounds terrible. You want us to fix this? Maybe that happened. I don't know.
I don't know. Do you think it's sad that certain artists like that you really like worship, particularly kind of get lost to time?
Get lost to time?
Yeah, just in terms of like these artists that have like creative masterworks that are maybe like 50 tapes exist that came out in 1982 and like.
It's part of the biz, baby. You can't hang if you can't, you can't be into careerism, making more than 50 is careerist. Sucks. Not really. I'm playing again.
But like, should that Should that stuff be repressed in edition of 1000 so that everyone can hear it?
Sure. But they got to be done on a CD. They got to look nice. Can't do the Urshima thing. You know, everybody knows. Like that, it's a rough look, you know. It's got to be on.
Why do you not like that?
And you know what? I think Industrial Recollections does a really good job of making it just cheap, utilitarian.
Yeah,
it's a scan of the art, and you get what you get, and it's $10, $13.
Yeah.
That's how if you want to reissue, do that. If not, it should be on YouTube. But you know, because records aren't going to happen in our lifetime again, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I think CDs are great. I think vinyl is.
That was the goal. That's always what I wanted to do. No one did it. No one ever fucking.
I think a vinyl album, if you record an album for vinyl, is cool. But I think reissuing things on vinyl to me just doesn't really make sense.
It looks. Yeah, I think CD. You know, should make it like affordable and awesome. CD works. Everybody's new favorite format.
But also,
CD.
Yeah, but also at the point where something is needed to be reissued, like say like A and B, it shouldn't be also reissued in a format that's also going to sell out instantly and become I think it should be reissued in a way that now every generation, or at least for as long as possible, can find it and hear it.
You ever listened to the Freak Animal podcast? I think it's a podcast, dude. Yeah, they got a podcast.
Yeah, I haven't listened to all of them, but I know he
has like
did some early ones. Obscure Japanese Noise, which I need to go back and listen to.
I want to listen to.
I listened to when they first came out.
Yeah, I'm not a super big Freak Animal kind of guy, but I mean, you know, Miko the guy has a fucking collection for sure. Has a, you know.
Yeah.
What can you say?
Is there something about the obscurity of certain artists that you're attracted to? Is that part of the antisocial grit that you're also attracted to? Yeah.
Everybody knows who everybody is now. Everybody knows who I am, that's for sure.
Now they do.
Thanks for that, man.
How do you so kind of changing the subject, how do you network with people? Because you're very, like I said, you're like a lot of people who know about you are like, yeah, like all about you, because you know they're in contact with you and you become very, you know, they kind of like build a relationship. But I think also you're obscure and you stay under the radar. But how do you find people and how do you connect with them?
Oh,
and like who's Thomas D'Angelo, for example? Because you seem to also collaborate and connect with a lot of people that aren't really like known as noise artists. They don't have a name. They don't have a project with their name, but you have a certain like seemingly really talented collaborators that kind of just are outside of the scene, and you operate also very outside the scene.
You don't know Big Tom D'Angelo?
No.
You should.
Cool. I know the name from yours.
He's cool. He's my favorite guy in music, man. I moved to Philadelphia and I met him, and he did the Crisis of Taste distro, and he was such, you know, at that point in our lives, both of us are really receptive and impassioned listeners, you know, and he did such a great job he committed so much to it. I don't know if he could never do that again, but he did do a lot with what he tried to do with his distro and with his recordings. And, you know, I think a lot of his stuff comes out of frustration with life and in music. Not that he's a frustrated guy, but I think the earlier stuff, he's always had this sort of, there's one show that he did where he had like mics in his hand and he's like clapping, and it was the stupidest. It looked really dumb, but it was really cool. And there's sort of like this, that he has some of that antisocial grit. You know, I like him as a listener, and I like him as a recording art. I have a tape for him that I need to finish. It's such a pain in the ass to assemble his tape. Luckily, he's patient and kind, and you know, a decent man. He's a decent man. He's decent, if anything. He's a decent man. Yes.
But how do you? Okay, so he's an example, but how do you come in contact with other folks that you really like work closely with?
Let's see. Let me open up a tab. I'm gonna tell you who I fuck with and who I don't fuck with.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I don't know. Eric? I found out about him through Fordemning. Let me get my head on.
Yeah.
Let me get my head on straight, man. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay.
Pulling up your list of collaborators.
Yes. And it's going to be a long list. No, it's not. One second. My computer's slow.
It's okay.
When are you going to start collaborating, Mr. Oscar? You got, you going to do something? You going to ever work with it? Okay, my computer's...
Sure, I
typed in the Giphy.
Oh, you went away.
Is there anyone? Yeah? Are you working on any collaborative stuff? Can you hear me?
Your image just went away. Okay, now it's back. No, not really. I haven't really been working on music hardly at all recently, and it's really making me annoyed because I spend all my time doing other stuff and very little in the past few years of actually on my own music. But you know what? I'm not depressed about it because I know that sometime soon something is going to come, and I'm actually very confident it's going to be
when the cameras are off. I want you to tell me
the right time.
Okay. Or you can tell me now.
I will. No, I'll tell you when the cameras are off.
All right. So the way I find these people, these guys. I mean, I've known Tom through Philly. I met Eric through Fordemning Zine. I met Will through. Oh, could I meet Will through? I don't really do that much with Will. There is another band with Will that is. Yeah, it's the most savage, erotic sound that 3 men can make. Yes.
Is it called California Raisins?
But it is. It's called Sex War. Yeah, get ready for that. It's going to be big.
Okay.
But I bet. Well, I think I've heard Worth. I don't think Other People's Children was. That guy's been doing it since he was 8 years old. 8. At the age of 8, he started making noise, and But So I don't have as much time with noises. But I met him through, I think, my friend Doug and Andrew. I think they booked a show and like, oh, you got to play, and I couldn't do it. Sam Franklin, Sam of Star. I discovered him. Did you know that? Yeah. I discovered him.
Huh. I didn't know that, but I kind of. I
found him.
Tell me how you discovered him.
That super talent, that superstar.
Yeah.
I met him at a party, and we were partying. Hell yeah, we were partying. We were partying in New York City, baby. And, I gave him that look, and he gave me that look, and I knew that guy had some major noise talent. And I said, baby, you're a star. And he went on to become the star that he is now. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah. No, he's cool. Sam's a painter. Did you know that? He does visual stuff.
I didn't know that. No.
You should ask him to see his stuff. He's a weird guy, man. Yeah,
I will, and I'll reconnect with him soon. It's been quite a while since we've talked.
Same here. But there's some talk. There's a Sam and Stuart thing. 2 goats.
I know.
2 goats
I really like
under
it.
one name. Yep.
Stable.
It's gonna be like the R. Kelly and Jay-Z CD. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Is that appropriate? You guys appropriate reference?
That's both worlds?
He's R. Kelly. I'm Jay-Z.
Sure.
All right. Anyway. But I met him through a party.
Well,
and
okay,
we talked about noise. He has a killer collection. He should show off his collection. You should, just do a slideshow. He should do a slideshow for White Centipede Noise of his collection. He's cool. And he's a painter. He's a well-rounded person inside and outside of noise. Plus, Legless. Yeah. Did a show with Legless. And Chris Conn, remember Vat? Did you ever listen to Vat?
Dude, what's up with him? Is he around still?
He's gone for good. I'm serious, he quit. That's too bad.
That's too bad.
But he was cool, man. He's a weird guy, too.
Vat is great. Vat, Lung Wash, that whole label, everything around it is some of my favorite stuff.
Tape for him. I was supposed to do a tape for him and self-released it. But I could have been somebody. I just did that tape.
He is somebody. I mean, that stuff is great. I mean, and there were some times where he kind of just kept popping in and was like, "Oh, I'm back now. I'm going to start working on stuff," and blah, blah.
You fell off the scene for a bit before you moved to Germany. You're quiet.
That's true. But I was always...
You're quiet for a little bit.
I was quiet, but I was still reachable. I would still answer an email.
That's good.
That's true, but yeah, that's. I mean, you got to respect that too. I mean, I think what Greg, Data Drumming Greg said a few times about everyone wants to hound people and say, "Come on, you gotta get back into noise." And it's like some people are just if they're not into it, they're not into it, and you shouldn't try to.
Yeah.
People shouldn't force it themselves. They shouldn't. If they're not into it, they shouldn't be into it, and of course, other people outside shouldn't.
Yeah, that Greg interview was good, man.
Shouldn't. There's no
good job without him.
Yeah. He's a good guy. What? So your name often gets. I mean, obviously you collaborate with Starr and Worth, but there's oftentimes this kind of association between certain artists that are pretty active right now, like you, Starr, Robert Fuchs, Worth. What is it you think you guys have in common?
With all of us on it.
That's a good idea. What would it be called?
Stuart Skinner and the $2 margaritas. They'd be the margaritas. But you know why? I don't know what you call them. That would be a good compilation. Hands out there. Yeah. I know they're listening. But I don't know what we call it. But someone should do it, and I think people should do a record. The reason I'm doing this, man, is I want to play a lot of shows. I want to travel. I want to do a record. You like me? You like the way I talk?
You're being a careerist.
I'm trying to come visit you, man, in Germany. I want to go to Germany again. I went there once.
Come on.
Got money? You got money. I see you.
No.
I'm playing.
No, I don't have money. But if you want to come out, we'll make something work. But so what is it that you see that you have in common with do you see that as kind of a movement? Do you see an affiliation with you guys, or are you guys just kind of coincidentally doing your thing?
Yeah, I think noise can be a little boring, and Sam is a well-rounded man inside and outside of noise, and he sends me cool paintings and art sometimes, and he has a good eye, and I was receptive to him about that. Mr. Dean is a visual artist. He's telling me that the interview you did with him is going to be a 3-part trilogy. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
But yeah, he's into art. Will is just kind of he's in the early stages of being goated, and I don't know what happened, but I think it's like I said, it's really easy to do something different when everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's doing Xerox collage or black and white Xerox with rumbling sounds. All you gotta do is add some color, print color and do something a little, spice it up. How's that for an answer? That answer your question? Okay.
Yeah. Do you think that should be a
Do
goal?
something different? Be different? I guess.
Yeah.
That's such a dumb
Even if
thing
it's-
to say.
even if it's
Be
not-
different. It should be different.
Well, I mean, like, what if someone doesn't want to be different? They want to be. What if someone just loves Xerox and Rumbling so much that being different isn't
There's always
appealing?
a
You
place
think
for
being
that.
different for the
There's
sake of being
always a
different
place
is worth it?
Black and white Xerox stuff with, especially if it's got somebody with their head cut off. I love stuff like that. I love nasty Xerox art, but it's cool. There's enough, there's plenty of room at the table. There you go. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You feel like that.
I love sleazy, violent Xerox J cards. That doesn't mean that I'm going to buy some little boy twerp with, that trope on his art. Like, I'm not buying that crap. Don't send me that. Don't contact me for that. People do. I don't want any of it. But, shit. I was listening to Murder Corporation recently. That stuff's pretty goofy and stupid and incredible. And it's all, focused on murder. If the name is any indication. Yeah.
Let me
Keep 'em
see
coming.
what other questions I have here. I've been jumping.
So keep them coming.
What's that?
You're losing me. I'm playing. Is that okay?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. Do you think the antisocial or outsider aspect of noise is like the one of the defining elements of it that sets it apart from other kinds of music?
You don't got to do anything, but that's the stuff that has the most appreciation, in my, the stuff that I like in noise always has, either has some like theme of weird, barely funny thing like Violent Notes and Geisha, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of labels in art and music that I really like that's hermetic, isolated. I think it's important, I think it's cool. I think it makes it more interesting. It gives it some sense of, I don't think it's important, but it certainly is an advantage. There is no mystique in noise right now, and in cassette culture. And that is not, I don't feel any one type of way about that, but, it's something that's gone forever.
Do you think that mystique can kind of sometimes replace or enhance the quality of the music, or do you think those are interchangeable? Do you think that sometimes that same music would be exactly as powerful or interesting if maybe that came out on some label that pressed 2,000 copies and you could get it on Discogs for 90 cents?
Because now we're talking about money, right? It's a money question. Is that a money question? You said 2 cents is all I got. I don't know. Does it? I don't know, man. That's a hard question. Because at what point, is it about the music? But that's the thing, it's a cassette. You get to do visual stuff. It's an interdisciplinary thing. You can do audio too. And so you can build, things around it. I don't know. Is it very important? No, because there's plenty of stuff that I love that's not obscure and that's not hard to find. But then sometimes,
like if AMB had that, if AMB was easily accessible and sitting on Discogs for 90 cents, or that other tape you showed, that early, do you think that would still have the same power as music?
Master Control, that's a CD. I mean, there's a billion copies of that, and it's awesome. That's like,
yeah, but there weren't. That's a reissue. There weren't at the beginning. There were like 10.
Man, I love that CD. It's so good. That shit's so good.
It's great.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because that now you got me questioning myself, man. I wasn't expecting that. You're grilling me.
How do you feel about, like, artists who go out of their way now with, all the tools that are the most logical and easy to use for, say, disseminating your work or distributing it. What do you think about people who decide to say, okay, I'm going to like get a PO box, which are totally like obsolete, and like you can only get it by writing me a letter, and
That's cool. That'd be cool. I don't know if he does that. That's cool though. If there's nothing else,
people do
cool. That. I don't know how they have the energy or the time to do that, but that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's 2022.
How do you feel then if the music is like? I mean, if the music doesn't add up?
I mean, there's plenty of stuff that people send me that's like, oh, I made 20 copies. Here you go, and it's kind of crappy. And it's like really poorly handmade art. Like some fucking hair glued to it or something that you're just like, oh my god, like this. I have to change my address. I don't want this person ever sending me this shit again. To move because this person keeps sending me shit. But yeah, that's a thing too. You can't just do one without the other. It's a balance, man. You gotta sound good. You gotta look good. You gotta have something. You gotta have some intention behind it, maybe.
Well, yeah. Then that's another key element that I'm trying to kind of get at is like the intent behind noise. What's the intent behind your noise?
Oh man, I don't know. Just make a few copies. Make it barely funny. Oh,
the sound, not the releasing part.
See, I'm like right now. I'm really focused on the way things look. To be honest, I want to do one day. Mm-hmm. I wanted to do a label that very focused on visuals and it's just one sound for the release. Not, Anyway, as far as what I try to do, man.
Different releases with
maybe
the same
do like
sound?
A sound effects record. Get a bunch of people to. Anyway, hey man, can I get a cup of coffee? I'm like, I'll be right back. Right?
Yeah, go for it.
You were asking me, good question, about what I try to do with sound or what my intention is with sound. And the only intention I really have, is to replicate sounds that I really have loved over the last 10 years. And to not necessarily wear influences on my sleeve, or on my whatever, not to be too obvious, but
on your red sleeve.
To I don't know. It's the thing with you don't know. Sometimes with music and art in general, you don't know what you're making until it's finished, and so it can be hard to tell you what the intention is. But earlier on, when I first started acquiring equipment and recording, it was about blending things that I loved, which were things like UK power electronics and noise, things like putrefier or ethnic acid, but also trying to incorporate, found sound and field recordings and create something that felt like, there's, the artists like John Du Buffet. You ever hear that guy? He's a famous guy. Art Brut. Is that how you pronounce it? Art Brut. Primitive art.
Yeah.
That's like combining that.
Yeah.
Like crude tape music with electronics. Mm-hmm. That was the original intention. Now, I think it's about, I don't know. I don't really have any intention with what I'm doing right now, other than to, like I said, I don't really have any intention at this point, but I know how to make sounds I like with the equipment that I have. Mm-hmm. And there's plenty of information out there on YouTube and in my collection of music that I don't necessarily totally try to rip off, but man, I love the way this sounds. I really want to try to do that.
Yeah. And then I guess to kind of follow it up, it's another really general open-ended question that's really hard to answer, but you said when you were first discovering noise through Swans and Big Black and things like that, it was kind of like, you were young and you were attracted to like the negative and antisocial aspect of it. But I assume that at this point you've kind of moved past that. That's it's not about that for you. So if you can you? Maybe it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I mean, can you try to maybe describe like these sounds that you love? I'm asking you specifically because you said you are anti-texture. So these sounds that you love and that you're fascinated by, what is it there that you're following or fascinated by or love about these certain sounds?
I guess if you're like, because you asked me like, okay, so I'll go through my life story. Like I don't know. I mean, shit.
Please do.
What's that self-abuse comp? It's like music should hurt or something like that. Yeah. You want to do that early on. You want to find sounds that, evoke hurting people. At least I did. Hurting a lot of people. And that's cool. And I still try to do that, But, it's sort of like Sam said, and he said, a few times I've talked to him, he said, there's nothing crazy or dangerous about sound. And that's true. And so, trying to think. The antisocial thing.
That's exactly the thing. Because I think at some point, that's kind of what attracts most people is that element. But I think at some point you get over that and you realize, no, it's not about. I mean, maybe still it has some element, but it's not about the danger or the evilness or whatever. It's about something else. It's about really love for certain things.
I'm trying to figure out what I really like
and like enjoyment of them.
I'm not really sure. I don't really know what I like in extreme music right now. I don't know. I'm at a crossroads with what I want to do with it. The world's pretty complex right now, and I think to do music, it should be a little bit more complex than it is right now. And so that is sort of what who knows when the new recording will come about, but that's the logic that I'm carrying into rather than focusing on, tropes of antisocial grit, like I was saying, or tropes of, painful sounds. It's sort of going into something else. I don't know what that is or when I'm ever going to get around to recording it, but I'd like to do something a little bit more complex, than just using no input and tape machines right now with funny pictures.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you, man.
That's good though. You've said a lot, even in that you've tried, and in your attempts, you've said a lot, which is important. We talk quite often about rap music. We send rap music
futuristic music
back and forth together quite a bit. Yeah. Tell me what you think about rap music.
I don't know. It gets into hairy territory or whatever you want to call it because it's 2022 and I'm white. I don't know if you knew that. You knew that? Yeah. So it gets into some, sensitive territory to discuss, black art. But as an American and as an American listener of music, I love early blues, pre-war blues, and I love rock and roll, and I love outlaw themes and criminality. Now, granted, that's not all of what rap music is. Rap comes from New York and people that were denied public education from music. So they did what they could with what they had and created hip hop and rap. But as me, I'm very interested. I love White House and Mouthhausen Orchestra is my favorite stuff of all time, and those guys focus on criminality and sleaze. And if you're looking for that kind of thing, you can find it in places like Memphis or Florida, North Houston, Los Angeles. I'm guessing New York.
Yeah.
I don't know anything that's really hot in New York right now. But yeah, that's my favorite music. That's the music we all grew up with. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like the most. It's like, yeah, it is like the most like American culture music. I mean, it's like the most representative American culture through music, or at least it's the dominant sound of American culture.
And it's, I don't know. It seems to just, I don't know. I always think like, oh man, I'm going to be tired of this soon. And then something else happens and I love it. But I used to be a teacher. I was a teacher for 6 years. And those kids.
Yeah. What was that? What were you teaching there? And what was that like? And why aren't you doing it anymore?
It's too hard. So fucking, it's the hard. I don't care what anybody says. Teaching is like, you could be a fucking rocket scientist. I don't give a shit what you are. Teachers are the hardest working people in the world. And I'm not some fucking, ninny who just says, oh, teachers are so important. Thank you, teachers. Like,
yeah,
it's the hardest job in the world. I can't do it. Everyone I know that's a teacher or a principal left too. It's too fucking hard. There's no fucking respect in this country for teachers. And that, like, I don't get mad about much, but that shit makes me so fucking mad. But yeah, those kids, like, we bonded over music. We talked about music, and they'd show me a lot of stuff. I'm trying to think of, oh man, like I had so many, like, there was so much fun. That was what was fun, was talking about music with them. They showed me stuff like, who did they show me? Jada Youngin. They showed me Jada Youngin. R.I.P. Jada Youngin. They showed me.
Yep.
NBA, like, and when NBA Youngboy came out, all the kids were. They're still about him, I assume. But that was everywhere. Yeah. And they showed me that. Who's annoying? NBA Youngboy is annoying.
That's really interesting that you had access to that, because that's like, because the new rap, like the really young kid rap, is still like, most of the older hip hop heads especially are like, that's not real rap and all this stuff. They hate it. And then, like, but there's this stuff that's coming out of, like kids that are like 16, 17. It's just like, it's going, and people, like, the young kids go crazy for it apparently. And I'm still like, I follow it like I try to kind of catch up on like what's going on. I'm always kind of like scratching my head about it a bit, but I'm kind of like accepting it more and more. But it's
kind of like black hair metal. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, or like I don't know, like Chief Keef is like Motorhead or something. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah. You mentioned one time when we were talking about that you aren't really into anything like pre-cash money, which is interesting because that's like, all the that's kind of like the classic, the 90s are kind of like considered the golden era of like New York. I mean, pretty much everywhere. Like, that's when hip hop was really developing as like a lyrical art form and really kind of hit its stride. And the current,
but I think that's sort of,
I mean, we've seen a couple like generations since then, and there's been different things. A lot of people like to put it down, like people say like Soulja Boy was like the like the end or something like that, or he was like the harbinger of a certain time, and then like Chief Keef is like another. But you've said to me that you think Chief Keef is one of the most important musical minds of the past 100 years.
Holy shit! I remember like 2012 when I Don't Like Cat heard that. God damn, this stuff's powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's powerful, and it's objectively more crude and crude, and I would say primitive than like Wu-Tang or like Nas or something like that. It's like, it's objectively like really, really simplistic, but has a certain power that we haven't, like, it has a certain hypnotic effect on people.
Not that, I mean, this sounds so goofy to some degree, but this country is, I'm from Texas, man, and we have fucking betrayed people. This country has betrayed people, And it's like cowards on the left, like in power, and corrupt on the right. I mean, they're both working together to destroy public education and destroy people and keep people fucking poor and keep people, and it's, whatever. I don't need to get into all that, but it's these people are fucking fed up. These kids are angry.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I have a lot of respect for angry young people. I've been, granted, I was not raised in the ghetto. I was not raised. I knew where my next meal was. I always had a place to stay. I'm from a great family. I had all these privileges, but I respect angry young people that come from nothing. And so, that's it, whether you like it or not, or whether you respect the artistry or not, that is a very important part of American identity, is angry young people who are dangerous at times. It's important. You need to know I don't want to know anyone that doesn't know about this stuff. I don't want to know anyone that doesn't know what's going on.
Right.
In this country. I don't want to know anyone that doesn't have any appreciation for rap. And on the subject of Cash Money, that was my earliest experience with music. I remember getting on a school bus with my sister, and she found a CD wallet, and that had like Ludacris and Cash Money and BG and what else? Eminem, 50 Cent, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's my first experience with music.
Yeah.
Of wanting music, wanting to be around music. And that's where I'm at now. That's the stuff I really want to be around. And like I said, you got to be a little guarded because, you have to be a little guarded when listening to it because it is music that is dangerous, It reflects a very dangerous lifestyle. Yeah. And, you got to tread lightly when listening to it. You don't want to indulge too hard in it, but man, it'll make you drive faster. It'll make you work out harder. It'll motivate you. It makes me feel so much. Yeah.
For sure. It is. I mean, that's something at least for me, I feel like it's the most emotive music that I know. It's the only kind of music it's really the only kind of music that'll give me like chills.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude. Yeah. You ever meet people that don't listen to this stuff? They're awful. They're stupid.
Yeah.
You're kind of dumb. You just kind of look at them like, I don't really listen to that. Like, okay. But yeah, it's important. You're not listening to that stuff. You suck. You listen to Maxo Cream? I was listening to him today. What the hell?
Never heard of him.
Whoa. You'll love him. Yeah,
is he one of the young guys?
He's got like he's from Houston, he's from North Houston, he's from A-Leaf. He's very good MC. He's a very good rapper. But he's like a very good rapper. Very good artist. You'd like him. I'm sure you'll like him.
I'm sure. The name does sound familiar. I've been really, really, really impressed with ESTG.
You like that guy?
He's kind of becoming a big star, but in terms of like really, yeah, there's a really bone dry, really vicious, but really smart. Yeah. Like
he's going to be a football player.
Really, truly dark and disturbing, like lyricism.
Yeah, he was going to be in the NFL. Apparently, he's supposed to go to college or something get drafted. Something happened. I don't know. Got into a life of crime. But I'm trying to think. Yeah. But yeah, check out Maxo, man. He does stuff with like the Griselda guys sometimes.
Okay. Maybe. Yeah. It sounds familiar. There's so many out there. Man.
Rappers I like right now. I have a pretty wide range of YouTube stuff. I listen to like Florida fast music.
Yeah,
you ever check out the Florida fast music stuff where these kids just speed up the records, make them really fast? That's what kids are into.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's super crazy.
And then I like Blue Bucks Clan. Those guys are cool. Bunch of party animals. Blue Bucks Clan. They're cool. They got a great name. Can you imagine? That's an insane name. Blue Bucks Clan.
Blue Bucks Clan?
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Blue Bucks.
Damn,
okay.
yeah, that's hard. That's scary shit. Yeah. From LA. From LA. So you gotta stay dangerous.
Okay. Yeah.
Sauce Walker, the Sauce Twins, Peso.
Sauce Walker's cool, yeah.
There's so much stuff out there. It's all pretty, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you, I mean, okay, this is maybe
I'm going to start rapping.
Idiotic question, but do you see...
Yes. The answer is yes, man.
Sorry. No, but do you see any, do you see any similarities in what attracts you to rap? Is it what attracts you to noise experimental music?
I think sometimes power electronics, at least, it's achieves this hypnotic effect through repetition. Sometimes rap does that through repetition. There's singing in rap at times, but there's an intensity. There's something to just the human voice and a pulse and sound.
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, there's some parallels there. Yeah.
I think, I've heard people make that kind of comparison in a kind of annoying way, but I think it's actually I think if you actually really look at it and what the psychology of it is behind it, why it's appealing, why power electronics is appealing.
I love
I
only like 9 things in PE. That's it. You can't be too into PE. In 2022, you're super into PE. That's rough, man. It's getting PE's getting a little too rough. Not in like a dangerous way, but in like a just underdeveloped way,
Yeah. Like it's a little bit.
It's kind of effective.
I don't want to say cringe. I mean, cringe is, I hate the word cringe, but I mean, it's a little bit like, all right.
I hate when people say something's cringe. Because I was a teacher, I just remember 11-year-olds saying that. It's like, dude, you sound like a fucking child saying something's cringe. So, I don't use that word.
Who is Smokey Wong?
That's a good question. How'd you come up with that question? Did someone tell you about that?
No. I've heard of Smokey Wong. I just don't know who he is.
Notorious entrepreneur, man of many faces and trades, dangerous restaurateur, sex addict, stoner, pill popper. Tokyo Kush, you ever hear that? You ever heard that name? Yeah.
I have.
Dangerous people.
I've heard that's really hardcore stuff.
Yeah. Might have to put this off record. It's dangerous stuff, man. Playing with fire, Oscar. But I don't know. Just I love bad jokes. I love stuff that's barely funny, stuff that's out of touch. I'm an out of touch guy myself. And
how did that work out? Were you liked by your students?
That's a good question. Children are difficult. I think there were some that did and some that didn't. As I got better at teaching, they said they hated me more, but they respected me more. Mm-hmm. I used to try and be not friends, but you want the approval of your students, and so they'll walk over you if you do that.
Yeah.
But what I've learned, you start out mean as shit. You should just be very mean, unlikable, and then maybe a month or don't even smile in the first couple months of knowing a child. Don't smile in front of them for 3 to 4 months. When you have a child, Oscar, do not smile at them. Maybe 3 to 4 years. Okay. But yeah, I know. Yeah, but once you do that, and then later on, you can get to know them as people and as individuals, and what they like and what they don't, and they respect you, and they want those parameters to, express themselves safely and explore. And it's fun. Working with young people can be fucking fun.
Yeah.
And so they liked me more as I got better at teaching. But I was always special education and reading intervention. So I worked with struggling readers.
Nice.
There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of joy. There's a lot of so much, fun stuff, especially, like just the music. The rap was what didn't keep me in there, but that's such a fun way to like bond with people, young people and their music. But they showed me so much, like, I don't know. You want some funny stories from teaching? One time I was watching like this like play. Maybe you don't want to use this, but there's like one time I broke up a fight between these two girls, and they're fighting over a boy or something, and broke them up. And then this one kid just said, "Bitch, you lucky I'm Christian." And then another time I was watching them play basketball, and I overheard one of them saying, "Hey, when I dunk, I'm going to put my nuts on Mr. Skinner's head." Yeah, they're little jerks. But I love, the music. Talking to them about music and stuff like that was always very fun. Very, very fun, especially during the early NBA Youngboy days. Yeah, they loved that guy.
Wow,
still do, I guess. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
I miss that totally. I miss that.
He's so self-serious.
He's old news at this point now.
Yeah, I used to have an NBA Youngboy shirt. I don't know what I did with it, but it's a hideous shirt. I have a cheap shirt. A cool shirt collection.
Damn.
Like 9 shirts.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Should have worn that. Yeah. I before I did this interview, like just a few minutes before we started, I put a question on. There's a White Stampede Discord server, and I put out questions. I put out the opportunity for people to ask questions to the people I'm interviewing. So I said, I'm interviewing Stuart Skinner in a minute. Does anyone have a question for him? And Eric wrote me he wrote me a message just now. I have no question for Stuart. Just tell him I love him, that I think of him every day, and that I hope I see him again one day. So that's that.
That guy, man. He's got a kid now.
Yeah.
He's got a great family.
You saw him when he toured the U.S. Did you travel with him a bit?
I'm never touring the United States. You're gonna pay me to see this place. This place sucks. What?
But you played. But you did see him and play with him.
He came here to bug me a little bit. He got me. No, I'm playing. But yeah, no, he came here. We played in Austin. We played at my boy Kevin's restaurant. Kind of tropical. Kicked it. Drank margaritas.
Cool.
Some of us got sick. Like they brought this like chewing tobacco, and like we're like, like just like barfing and stuff.
Oh,
yeah. Met Evelina and David.
I know that stuff.
Zach was there. My boy Zach, aka Tokyo Kush. Well, he's part of it. He's part of. You want to talk Smokey Wong? That's my boy Zach too. He's in on that. Okay. And but it was fun. I think Eric. Can't say enough good thing. If anyone ever came incorrect to Eric, no one could ever have a problem with him. He's so.
Why do you think someone would? No one comes incorrect to each other in the noise scene anyway.
No, but what a flattering.
They really don't. I mean, have you noticed that no one does? People just give each other like passive aggressive ignoring or nothing.
It's okay not to respond, but passive aggressive stuff sucks. On the subject of that letter to Eric, golly. He's a special person. He's like one of those people that has, developed inside and outside of his creative will. And what more could you want in a friend? So special, so funny, so goofy, and really loves his kid and his family. I don't know. Like I get mushy about that guy sometimes. Dream about
Yeah.
it. Dream
Apparently
about
he
it
does too.
sometimes.
Don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
So you've already kind of showed you pulled out your treasure chest and showed some like of your kind of like favorites of all time. I always like to ask people what their top 5 releases of all time are. Can you add to that?
Man. Is this going to be the end of the podcast?
It doesn't have to be. We can keep talking after that.
It's going to be part 2. Okay. Do they have to be noise? Noise stuff? Okay.
No. Well, I mean, they should be kind of related. They shouldn't be like indie rock or something.
NBA Young Boy, Daddy Young, bro. I don't know. You know, I'm too coffee buzzed. Anyway, stuff that I like. We're just gonna. Now, some of this stuff. You want to talk about weird music? Bill Dixon. You ever heard of Bill Dixon? You've heard of him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I don't think so.
It's like he's a trumpet player, but it's just like dripping and reverb. It's so good. Reverb, big spacious sound, and there's like tracks where there's like little girls playing jump rope over it. You'll hear,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the full thing's on YouTube. You really want to grow as a person and as a listener, Bill Dixon can help you with that. Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of goofy and tacky of me to just be flipping. Maybe it is to be flipping through stuff, but in the effort of turning people on to things,
it's good.
Because whatever. I spent a lot of time.
You like to do that?
I spent a lot of time with this stuff, and I'm just trying to get it out there. You know, this is one of my favorite records ever. Hans Chrissy, XHK. You like noise?
Mm-hmm.
This is the noise of a man. I think he's from Switzerland. Who? Actual recording. Oh, okay. He's a Swiss guy. I don't know when exactly, but he was a special needs man. Maybe had an intellectual disability. But he recorded in a flower shop basement or attic or something. And it's insect sounds and classical music and grunting. You really, you want to grow as someone that listens to things that are not music-ish. Hans Chrissy is incredible. It's one of the best, like Tom D'Angelo, he's a big Hans Chrissy guy. Oh man, look at that. You ever seen this? Look at that. Huh? You like that, Oscar? You saw that. You like that. Anything? Not possible.
My camera's pretty pixelated. I could make out what was going on. Yeah. What is it?
That? You see what he's doing in there. Yeah. You like that.
Yeah. Oh, is that
gravitational arch of sex? This is an orchestra box.
Wow.
Slaughter. That's
crazy.
The best. There's only 3, maybe 4 or 5 power electronics things. Maybe 6. Some of those are probably Mouthhausen Orchestra, Mangled Quit, Stripped. Gotta be some more. Leota Music. Leota Music is the best of all that era, in my opinion. I'm trying to think. Other stuff I really like. Man, there's so much stuff. I don't listen to much of it right now, but there's so much shit that I really love.
Yeah.
That ASM stuff. I will upload some new things soon.
Yellow Cab. Yellow Cab tape on Gross is big bursting reverb and bad vocals, and it's just such a great noise tape. I'm trying to think. Hans Crucy, Yellow Cab. 1 second. I did make a list because I anticipated.
It's 5, I think.
Oh man, just got
Isn't it 4?
Okay.
Get a little more.
All right. 1 second. I just gotta belt these out. If I can. I think I saved it. Okay. White House, Buchenwald. You like One Sound? The vocals. It's probably the most inhuman power electronics recording you can think of. Lyoda Music. Yuzuru Saiges, that tape. It's on YouTube. You ever hear the examples of cannibalism tape? I don't know. It's like White House. I think it's White House and MB. It's really good.
Right.
It's really good.
No, I don't think I have.
1 second. There's one more. So it's not a very complete list, but the Juice Secrete Meat Live. Have you heard that one? On YouTube? I will send it to you because I think it's really great. Nasty, crude tape collage, and Smegma kind of, he's a Smegma guy. So there's lots of like anti-music, screeching violins and crap, but the taped stuff, I mean, it sounds like so good. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's a lot more.
Cool.
And I will spam you forever now.
Well, this
stuff.
Yeah, spam me and spam other people. You're a good spammer. You're a good source for new sources, for new sounds. So tell me then, if you can, I know you're into the old stuff, but tell me then if there are like a few artists or releases, doesn't have to be 5, doesn't have to be specific tapes, can be projects of the past year or a couple of years that you're really
You should reach out to this guy, Josh Hogan. I think that's his name. I could be wrong. I've only emailed him. He has this new CDR called Defeat. Have you heard of him? He's good.
Josh Hogan?
I think J.S. Hogan, I think he's from Oklahoma. I think he's going to try and come down here and come play a show. That's all I'm trying to do is play not as many places as I can, but I really want to play. I don't know. I just want to get out and play and be around people at this point. But he has a project called Defeat. Yeah. I will send you a link to him because it's a very good double CDR of audio of like blipping, creaking, floorboard, all sorts of, found sound stuff, people arguing and talking. It's a lot of stuff. I mean, he definitely just threw everything. I feel like he just threw everything he could onto a CDR and got that. And it was really good. It's pretty cohesive and weird. Let's see. The Steve McCaffrey CD that me and Tom put out. I've kind of, to be honest, like I tried to jump on the sound poetry thing and didn't really work out, but that one's fucking killer.
Cool. Do you have? So
yes,
that exists.
I have 200 copies. I'm going to send you one for distro. I'll send you some if you want them.
Yeah.
People need to hear it.
I know you don't want to do much distro or whatever like that, but I really hope to get some of that stuff.
I'm going to do. There's a bunch of people I owe mail. There's been a lot going on, but it's you're one of the.
I know.
One of the guys. One of the many.
What else?
I like. Man, I wish I had all this stuff on this list. Okay. Oh, there is this CD that came out, I guess, a year or two ago. This woman named Sydney Span. You heard of her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's good. She does, very well conceptualize strange stuff. I think she focuses on child, like reflection on like hazy white reflection on like childhood and infancy.
Mm-hmm.
She did something with a baby monitor at some point. I don't know. Vocals. That thing is really good. It's really, really good. It's and then the one thing I can compare it to is Mob's Sideshow. It sounds like a Mob Sideshow, which I'll send you a link to if you haven't heard. Mob Side. It's, oh man,
have not.
Houston weirdo shit. Very good. Very good drone music. But that CD's really good. New stuff that I like.
I'm going to ask that you send me the names of all these things, because I always try to put images up there, and I oftentimes can. I have a feeling this is going to be even harder than some of the normal. And people always ask, and I'm like, I can't be bothered to do one more step in editing this. But if you can send me the list, I think this is fascinating stuff that people will be able to search on their own.
New shit, man. I'm trying to think. You know, everybody likes Robert Fuchs and Starr. Everybody, anyone that listens to this podcast know those guys are very good, very weird, good, but good people that do weird and good noise.
Yeah.
Man, come on. There's so much. There's just enough stuff to mention that's really worth hearing. I'm excited to see what people think of the Usagi CD I did. I hope people like it. Dude,
when's that coming out?
I gotta take this selfie. It's waiting on a selfie.
We can make it. You can do a screenshot right now of yourself.
Oh man, you're just trying to get on the
album
album cover. That's it. That's all you.
No, you don't have to put me in it. Just put yourself in it.
I have to get the right selfie though. There's a lot more to it than just this mug. But new stuff, man. There's got to be some interest in ASM. How about a theoretical, but a fake, things people should do. Someone needs to get on ASM today. One of these eccentric millionaires that can release as much reissues as possible, an ASM CD. Someone should do that. And someone should.
Do you think there are a lot of such people in the noise scene?
Oh, I don't know. I'm one of them, baby. I'm sitting on. No, but someone should, whoever has the time, get a hold of Mark Jameson and say, we need to do this. Because that shit, that was like the, skin crime right-hand man, Mark Jameson. And his solo stuff, there's like a CDR he did, is wild. It's wild. Rumbling speakers, voices coming out of them, and broken everything, tape, no equipment, no pedals, just tape and feedback. And then, people should check out. And what do you think? I got some stuff from. You ever check out the 777 was 666 label? You ever check out that, dude?
Yep.
Tomo. People should just browse that catalog. Ideas for the way things should look and sound. Man, I feel so foolish. I knew this question was coming and I don't know how to answer it.
You've named like 7 things. That's more than 5. So I mean,
are you going to invite me to the wedding?
You can do an addendum.
You going to invite me to the wedding?
What's that? I wish.
You're going to fly me out to the wedding, right?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, there's plenty of stuff, and I will continue to spam you with stuff. And if people want
to, I'll try to make a list in the comments of the YouTube thing of your recommendations, all like your additional recommendations.
Okay, so I'm going to have a more focused answer on new stuff. But yeah, there's plenty.
That's cool that you've given
the ASM thing. Someone really there's so many people that listen, right? There's like 15 people that listen to this podcast. So I'm one of those people. I'm sure there's whoever has the time, whoever can do it should do an ASM. I would love to hear ASM. I'd love to hear any ASM.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Someone will do it. If it's possible, someone will do it.
Yeah, Mark Jameson.
And you know what? Just so you know, these days, to put out a CD doesn't cost that much money.
I know.
I mean, it costs some money, but it's not like, it's pretty doable for anyone who really wants to do it.
I liked the Flea Circus CD. You liked that one? You liked it?
Very cool CD.
Good.
I do. I like your solo one that's coming out on Usagi even more.
Keep going.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one. It's going to be yeah, it's excellent for everyone listening, and finally to have some of your stuff in wider circulation, because I think I'm of the opinion that it's a shame to have such cool stuff.
Hey, if you're listening to this, fly me out.
So hard to get.
I need a vacation. I'll give you a great show. I'm good live, bro. Fly me out. Maybe I'll do something.
Maybe talk to the Swedish guys. Talk to Eric.
I know. He'll fly me out.
He's got the money.
That's what I like about Eric. He got money.
Yeah.
Sweden. There's going to be a Swedish assault eventually. There's going to be the war on California with a close collaborator. Yeah, we're waging war on California soon. Me and some of the Axis powers of harsh noise and power electronics. There's going to be some very cool, strange tapes from the Gift of Music. And the CD, limited to 1,000 copies. I do some of this stuff just to shit on bitches, man. You know how it is.
What's the CD?
Connor Cambrian. Have you heard of this man? He's a weird guy. But he makes some of the most sad, melancholic, and alienating stuff I've heard in a while. He's very touched. He's weird. There's something wrong with him. I worry about him. That's why I did the CD.
Well, 1,000 copies will cheer him up.
And like I said, I don't keep these. I keep one. So he's going to have quite a few. Prepare yourself, Connor, if you're listening.
Cool. Good.
But there's
anything else coming up that you want to let us know about?
What's that?
Anything else coming up that you want to let us know about?
Angelo's tape. You seen that sucker? Have you seen that?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I won't ruin it. But it's a sticky one. Sticky.
Yeah. With the fly traps.
There's a collaborative tape. It's a spiky, going to be a very painful to hold cassette. I'm going to try and hurt people with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Eureka Cash tape that we're working on some very bizarre packaging for. Do you know her? Yeah,
I do. I don't. I have.
What do you think?
I think I have one of the tapes on No Rent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a weird person, and soon the world will know. Yes, man. Yes.
Well, please make sure you get some of this stuff to me, and maybe consider putting it. Maybe, yeah. I think someone. I mean, how would you feel about someone reaching out to you and say, "Okay, you know what? I want to reissue most of those Gift of Music tapes in like editions of 300."
Oh yeah, dude. It's time. The Gift of Music was the best noise label of the last 10 years. Everybody knows this. Some are afraid to admit it. I know that you are. Yes. Yes.
I don't know that it is because I don't have I haven't had the
You
chance
will
to
know.
hear enough of it.
Soon you will know. Yes. Anyway, but yeah, if somebody wants to do it, hey man, rock my number, bro. I'm ready. Fly me out, get me on vacation. I'll play and then you can release my stuff. How about that? Get me on vacation, I'll give you some tapes. All jokes aside.
Enough of the thousands of people out here listening, millions maybe of people listening to this podcast there'll be some offers that come.
All joking aside. Yeah, there's some cool stuff coming. And it's the Sex War cassette. Prepare yourself, Oscar.
You, Will Van Gorder, and someone
Very
else.
sleazy and sexy Australian. Yes. Tommy the
Is it
sexual
that
sleazy genius. There's a lot of
he the
there's
psycho
quite a
guy?
few geniuses on this tape. We came to know each other carnally. True power electronics.
Oh.
Not like,
Carnally from
Yes.
Australia,
Yes.
Texas?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
True PE. Vampiric, ultra violent power electronics. International jet setting power electronics. Am I selling you on this?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm familiar with all three of yours work, and I think that sells it in itself. So
You like that? Yes.
make sure. Well, okay, so just make sure you get me stuff. Make sure you get this stuff out there. At least.
I will try.
'Cause-
and if
'cause-
people want
'cause
to, yeah.
What can people do if they want to hear what
Done.
you're up to and they want to get it?
I don't have a way to rip tapes. I don't have gift of music stuff. I really don't. Okay. I don't have anything right now. So most of it's gone. So you're just going to have to look. But, okay, off the record, off the tape.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to do something, I would love for people to hear all the gift of music stuff. I just don't have the money or the time or any. Like I work fucking 7 days a week, man. My shit's fucked up. So noise is taking a little bit of a backseat.
Sure. You need a partner. You need
A
a label.
label partner. A label.
We need a label
Yeah,
to take over
I do.
something. Maybe. Okay, cool. Well, we'll put your contact information here in the thing, and you'll get a bunch of spam,
From beautiful women.
but it'll be good spam.
Oh, beautiful
Yeah, exactly.
women. Shout out to all the beautiful women that are listening right now. I see you.
Yeah. It's a lot of them.
I hope this interview hasn't. I hope I haven't made you
Okay.
uncomfortable or No.
No.
I don't know.
Why?
It's my first time meeting you. Sometimes
No, why?
sarcasm doesn't work. I'm just trying to be me.
No, I'm not uncomfortable.
Okay.
No, you're very, very forthright, informative, and also mysterious. So
Whoa.
that was great. I wasn't uncomfortable at all, and I think people will appreciate hearing from you. And this is the first episode of a trilogy,
Yep.
like you said. I mean, there's gonna be a trilogy with Dean,
Yeah.
and there's a trilogy with you. So this is just
Me and Dean
This is
are
just the
coming for your
intro.
job, bro. Dean had star power. That we are Dean for your podcast. He was going to be a
Oh, okay.
sidekick, like David Letterman and that guy that plays piano. But he's coming for it,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Coming for the host
You are
position.
like the Don Imus of noise. Look at that mic. He's spray painted gold sunglasses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jazz it up. Spice it up.
Yeah, I'm working on saving up some money to jazz up my
I'm
studio a
playing
bit,
with
but yeah. Cool, man. Well, great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
I listen to every episode. I always listen to this thing. Keep doing it. It's building a populist movement in the genre. I'm serious. It is. I think hopefully it.
What does populist mean? What does that mean?
People that have no experience of this stuff are getting influenced by, like there's probably a 17-year-old that's hearing the Dada drumming stuff, or that is learning about, Evil Monster.
Stuart Skinner.
Shit. There's some real deal shit. So that, it's part of the populist movement, getting.
But it's the opposite from antisocial grit.
Yeah. But that's my job, baby.
Thank you for tuning into White Centipede Noise. If you're listening to this and not yet supporting, head over to patreon.com/White Centipede Noise. If you want to start at just €3 a month, you get invited to the monthly White Centipede Noise video party, which is a mix of Patreon supporters and previous guests on the podcast and White Centipede Noise alumni. For €5 a month, you get access to WCN TV content, which is bonus episodes. I do follow-up episodes with certain guests, and I'll be doing more. That's WCN TV content, Noise on the Run, album reviews, and much more to come. If you support at €10 a month, that's called the Maniac Circle. You get access to the WCN Discord server, access to premium WCN TV content, and this month, to mark the 1-year anniversary of the podcast, which is coming up very soon, I'm giving away an exclusive t-shirt to all Maniac Circle supporters. If you wish to take it to the next level and really show strong support, you can become a heavy sponsor. If you sign up for 1 year support as a heavy sponsor, you get an exclusive White Centipede Noise Maniac Circle bomber jacket. These gifts are being offered until October 7th, so be sure to sign up by then to receive them. They're being printed to order, will not be overprinted, so be sure to act now if you want to receive those gifts.